To distract from the absolute dumpster fire that is Magic the Gathering currently, I decided to make a video on one of Magic the Gathering's most consistently positive and often overlooked aspect, its art. Specifically, the art of Zendikar Rising, which is, at the time of recording, Magic the Gathering's latest expansion. This list will only be the base art, none of the alternate art, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. At number 10, we have Namana Skydancer. I always love cards that tell a story, and this does just that. I love the rogue deftly leaping through the air after delivering 2 precise strikes into the beast's neck. I love the composition with the rogue above the beast, signifying dominance. I love the design of the rogue with all these ropes and knives and a million spikes. The reason why this is so low on the list, though, is because it's all sort of this muddy brown color. I think it would have looked a lot better if there was some contrast, either with the dragon being a different color, either with the big beast being a different color, or the background being a different color. But other than that, I love this piece. It has a great sense of movement, it tells a story, it's great. At number 9, we have Forsaken Monument. I love the lush greenery in this color, as well as the great sense of scale with these small people in the foreground with this giant overgrown monument right here, and all the hedrons with the grass and trees growing on them too, showing that in Zendikar, nature will overtake everything eventually. Unfortunately, this is not the corpse of Ulamog as you might think upon first seeing this. It's actually the remains of a card named Eldrazi Monument, because Ulamog got burned up to death in a very anticlimactic battle with the Gatewatch. The reason why this is so high on the list is mainly personal preference. I prefer action shots and shots with detailed people compared to just landscapes, but this is still an amazing piece of art with the sense of scale, the lush greenery, the interesting sun shining through the cloud, all of which come together and form a very solid piece. At number 8, Spoils of Adventure. This is a very personal pick for me, I guess. I'm a little biased. I love the party mechanic, and I'm also a huge D&D fan, and I think this image really captures the spirit of a D&D party. We have the guy cracking jokes, the people appreciating it, and even the edgy rogue who just wants to count the loot. It's a really great piece with a lot of personality. The reason why it's so low on the list, though, is because despite having these beautifully detailed people, some of the stuff is not detailed at all. This sword is basically nothing. It's just some colors. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. It definitely would have been higher on the list if it maintained this amazing level of detail throughout not only the people, but also the objects. But it's still a great piece. At number 7, we have Soul Shatter. The stylized cards can be hit or miss for a lot of people, but they're usually hits for me, and this is no exception. I love the use of color and contrast with the black and the red. I love the hedrons surrounding the picture. I love how it looks like something that you could see in a ruined temple in a Indiana Jones movie or a video game. The way the dragon is being smited by this black energy gives this very cool effect. The one thing I dislike, though, is the background is very plain. It's just sort of a neutral color. I think something more interesting could have been done. This is a great example of a card that goes outside the box art-wise and succeeds. At number 6, we have a card that uses color beautifully. The intricate details of the plant look amazing and lifelike, with the way the strands of grass and vines intertwined together, and the great contrast with the fiery magma mixed together make this truly stand out. I love the way the colors blend and the way it gradually shifts and mixes together between the green and the red and the orange. The warm colors and the cool colors are very contrasting, but also flow together in a way that seems natural. This is truly a masterful use of colors. At number 5 is another card that tells a story. This one, a brutal and animalistic struggle for a material object. I love the pained look of expressions on everyone's face as they fight each other, trying to reach out and grasp the coveted prize. The party mechanic on this card also tells a story. This was most likely once a cohesive unit that turned on each other the moment what they were seeking was in grasp. It is unclear what the outcome will be, but it's clear that there's a bloody conflict ahead of all of these men. At number 4, we have Scale the Heights. This is a piece that I think really defines the aesthetic of Zendikar. Like, if someone asked me, what does Zendikar look like, I would show them this card. We have an elf climbing up an insurmountable height with the skyhook things that they use all around Zendikar. We have these floating structures that aren't quite hedrons, but are similar enough, with nature overgrowing all of it, showing that not only is Zendikar full of strange structures, but full of nature that will always overtake it as well. At number 3 is a card that I absolutely love, Linvala, Shield of Seagate. I love her design, with her beautiful shield right here, the amazing breastplate, the cool staff, the armor, the robe, the shawl, and I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like a scarf going out. I love her pose. It reminds me, I feel like I've seen the pose before, either on like a Wonder Woman cover or a World War II propaganda poster, but I have not been able to find what I'm thinking of. If this pose is familiar to you, please comment where it's from, because it definitely looks familiar. I love this bird in the foreground and how detailed it is. I love the rebuilt city of Seagate in the background with the blue beacon, the clouds on the horizon. The clouds look almost stormy, and then she's moving towards a light, showing that Seagate's going towards a new light. You know, it was destroyed by the Eldrazi, but now it's been rebuilt, and she is the defender. The one thing I do not like about this is her eyes look kind of weird. The outline is like also blue, which makes it look kind of weird, and if I were to change anything, it would be that. But other than that, I love this picture so much, from the character design to the pose to the background to the details like the birds to the staff to the lighting, the clouds. Everything is great. Now, number 2 and number 1 could go either way. It's basically just nitpicking and personal opinion. But at number 2, we have Nahiri's Lithomancy. The amount of detail in this picture is insane. This looks like actual magma or lava, whichever one it is. Nahiri at the center of all the chaos, bending Zendikar to her will with her very strange expression of just anger with her glowing red eyes is amazing. I love the details in the background with the hedrons being... it almost looks like they're being absorbed by the lava. I haven't read the lore for Zendikar Rising yet, but that's what it looks like, and I almost think that's very poignant because it's showing Nahiri's insanity in that she's destroying her own creations at this point. The hedrons were created by Nahiri to contain the Eldrazi. I love the way the lava blends together, the black and browns and the glowing. It looks like it's glowing somehow. Beautiful. Just the way it all flows together. The reason why I have this at number 2 and not number 1 is because this area right here I think has a little bit too much brown. I think a little bit more reds and oranges would make it stick out a lot more. But all the brown just kind of makes it blend in right there. That's just nitpicking. This piece is amazing. I mean, you could hang this on your wall. And overall, it's just a great piece. At number 1, we have Into the Royal. I put this ahead of Nahiri's Lithomancy just because I love the cool blue colors and the water. And I feel like it captures Zendikar more than any other card in this set. The chaos of the water just spraying everywhere just suddenly in these weird, unnatural for us geysers of water, but completely mundane for Zendikar. I love the water looks like actual water with all the little particles. The colors are beautiful. The background is detailed with all the floating landscapes. just everything is so pretty looking. The sense of motion in this picture is insane. And I really think that it is the best piece of artwork in Zendikar Rising. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe and do all that stuff. You already know the deal.